This is the entrance to Park Level Mine, which we'll be going down in a minute.
Hey, if we can all just gather over here for a moment, please, and I'll introduce myself. I'm called Cassie. If you need assistance quickly, just shout, "Cafe!
Cafe!
Cafe!" Now then, I need a volunteer to be at the back. I'll be at the front.
I'll do the back if you
You'll do the back. Your name?
Nick.
Nick is at the back, so if I make no response, shout for Nick. And if you want to come out, on this route in, there is up to a certain point you could turn around and come out yourself. So if you need to come out, shout for Nick. What agreement he makes with you to allow you out, I don't know. But he doesn't look too obvious. But you never know. There's two sides to everybody, isn't there? But you'll share it with me.
Yeah, if you want.
All right. So, going into a lead mine, is it a new experience for all of you?
Yes.
Right. Let me show you what the lead ore looks like. If you have a look here, you can see all that grey there. And some of it actually shining quite beautifully, isn't it, in the sunshine today. That's your lead ore. And this is how it looks when the miners are bringing it out. Unfortunately, it doesn't come out in nice, tidy little chunks, ready to go to the smelt mill. Comes out, and they call this bouse, and it's a great big lump of rock. Once it's out the mine, then that's what the rest of the site is about, the dressing process, getting that lead ore out of the fruit of the rock. Remember as well, as we go through, the only thing our miners are paid on is the weight of that lead ore that they bring out. It's not the number of hours. They don't get paid so much per hour down the mine. It's what they get paid for. Get paid for the weight of that. It's all recorded. Right, well this mine that we're going into today, it's called Park Level, and the cross tunnel we're going into was built in 1853. They've been mining in the North Pennines for centuries. There's evidence of mining all over the place. But this today that we are going into, built in 1853 and was worked until about 1910. By the mid-1880s, the price of lead was starting to plummet. It always did have a bit of an up and downy, because you can imagine if there was a war on, well, we need lots of lead and the price would go up. But in the mid-1880s, we were starting to get imports from Spain, and that pushed our prices so far down that by the early 1900s it wasn't worth mining anymore. And there's no lead ore mining in the UK. There's probably plenty still down there. It's just not economic to go for it anymore. So that's a little introduction. The tubs were brought in and out by ponies, hence our stable block. But the ponies were quite big and strong. They weren't little Shetland ponies. They were great big strong ponies, because these tubs are extremely heavy. And that leads us to look at the height of the mine entrance. If it had just been men going in, I think that would have been a lot lower. But ponies need that headroom to be able to work. So it's built that height for the ponies' comfort, so the ponies can work properly. And then as we go in, just this end of the tunnel, we've got this dry stone arching. The same principle of your dry stone walls. The earth varies as you're driving your way through. You'll be in sandstone, you might be in limestone, you might be in shale, you might be in more mud soil types. So where it needs reinforcing, they used dry stone arching, and it was skilled stonemasons would follow the working lane and build that just to keep it up. And when you'll see at the point higher up, we're in sandstone, so the dry stone arching has finished. But some mines, you know, the tunnels go, how these hills stay up, I don't know. There's so much tunnelling under them. And some of them you go in and you might be 2 miles in, and then here's another beautiful pile of dry stone arching. It's a beautiful feature of the mines, and beautifully done, and it would be double archways, tunnels going off in different directions. So there was a lot of work went on in the mine other than the miners.
Although I said I wasn't going to talk, I will just mention that part of these walls, as we get through the room, there's a lot
Yep,
Everybody happy?
everyone's here.
And everybody ready to do the bending down bit? Now, will water trickling? That's coming from the roof. And if it goes down your neck, it is freezing cold. So,
Right.
right. And then when we get to the top end, we are, once you can't see any more girders, you can stand up full height. Right. And that's when we'll be turning to the right, and then we'll be pausing and having a chat. Well done. All right. If we're back to Nick, are we? All right, that's no problem.
Still here.
Now, can you all see where I'm standing? You might need to just be a little bit closer so Nick can get right in, because he's still way back there. Right, we've come up that cross tunnel, but this is to show you how they were working. They would be looking for veins of mineral, and if you look up there, you can see sort of the silver line. That's what they're looking for. But that vein is very, very narrow. The other important thing to remember is mineral veins were like that. Well, they were kind of just off 45 degrees. They weren't like your coal seams in horizontal. They were like that. Hence, building that cross tunnel, they knew, they were very clever guys. They knew if they built that into the hillside, it would intersect up to 14 veins of mineral. Some maybe as skinny as that, but hopefully some really big ones. That, because it's so narrow, this partnership working this bit of the mine would say, that's no good, we're only paid on the weight of the ore, we can't get enough out of that to make a living. So they would abandon it and start going for another vein. And when they abandoned it, they would put the rock, if you look behind these people here, you can see how that's built back in. They've tried to follow the vein and nothing's happening, so they fill it back in with what they call deads. Deads is the rock that is of no value to anybody. They don't want to pay the man with the pony to take tubs and tubs of deads out, because they have to pay him at the end of 6 months. All his trips will have been noted down and he has to be paid. So where they can, they leave the deads in the mine, but obviously a lot does have to come out. But going back to working, and yes, there's nothing there, they've got to start blasting again. This is what they'll use. You've got 1853, nothing mechanical at all. It's all just hard physical work. So we've got a nice big hammer, and some of you men would like to swing that all day. You can have a try, you can have a lift of it if you want. Do you want to swing that? Must have been extremely strong. I wouldn't want to be using that all day, but neither would I want to be the man who's hanging on to this.
No.
This is the chisel, or as they called it, jumper. He would be holding that while to the guys, and let's hope he said,
Don't miss.
Yes, don't miss, I value my fingers and my thumbs.
Yeah. So do they work as a team then? Because so when they get paid, it's like, I don't know, 4 people working together, and then they would divvy it up between them.
They called it partnerships.
Right.
And the partnerships would probably be 4 men, maybe 6.
Yeah.
And the partnership would go to see the manager once every 3 months. The manager would say what they were going to get paid for their lead ore.
Right.
Now, if they could not find a decent vein, if it was proving very difficult, they would get a little bit higher price than those where it was easy to get to. Maybe they were really deep into the mine, and maybe some of the mines were very deep. If they had to go down 500 feet before they started work and then walk a mile, the mine manager might say, oh, for the next 3 months your pay is going to be 20p a ton or whatever.
Yeah.
And that price would stick for 3 months. Now, and what our miners were always hoping was that they would hit the bonanza. They would hit
the big names,
Yeah.
because that price was
Yeah.
safe for 3
Yeah.
months. And they would hit a really big name and be getting really good money for it. But at 3 months' time, the manager would say, sorry lads, this is just too good.
Yeah.
Your price goes down again. And then it was all recorded, everything was recorded, the number of times the blacksmith sharpened their chisels, the pony man we've mentioned. If they stayed in the mine shop, they would pay possibly a shilling a week for that. They bought all their own equipment, their candles. They only bought tallow candles because they were cheaper. Horrible animal fat candles. And they also, the washer boys would work, that'll kind of, I don't know if you've seen the bowsteads in the washing floor, but each bowstead belonged to a partnership.
Right.
And the washer boys would work on one bowstead at a time, so that the lead ore didn't get muddled. Now those washer boys got tuppence a day. But at 6 months' time, when payday came round, what happened? All those tuppences had been recorded.
Yeah.
That came off the mines
Yeah.
tally. And we'll see round the corner yet another element. So at the end of 6 months, they often didn't have any money at all. They would carry debt from one 6-month period to the next. And a lot of them wanted to emigrate, you know, and some of them did manage, some of them did hit bonanza and get enough money for the passage. But if you're living in debt from one period to another, how on earth can you get the funds together to do anything other than
But
mining?
also the fact that it wouldn't just be you, it would probably be your family as well.
Yeah,
So you've got to
yeah.
find the passage for everybody.
Yes,
Or
that's
you
it.
leave them behind.
Or you go on your own.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Where did all these people live then, roundabout? Or
They
on
lived
site?
No, they didn't live on site, but they walked in and they maybe stayed. That's what the
Yes,
mine
yeah.
shop was. They would be too far away to walk in and out every day. When you drive round, you'll see lots of ruined buildings or some stone buildings which have now been converted, and you think, crikey, where's the road into that, you know? This is where the miners would have their little small holdings, and they would be taken into a partnership at a particular mine, and if it was too far, they would just walk in at the beginning of the week, stay all week, and then walk home.
So say you had, I don't know how many partnerships you would have working out of this mine. If you had like one partnership that were doing really well, they found a really nice big vein, and you've got another one working on a different vein, which is much smaller, would they share the spoils, or would they just, it's
They
every,
would just-
every partnership for themselves?
It was kind of every partnership for themselves,
Right.
but they never cheated on each other.
No.
No.
There was no cheating going on down at the bowsteads to,
they're all out the
you know,
same. Yeah.
they've got some really good
Yeah.
stuff in there.
Yeah.
They were quite religious. That Methodism was a strong element here.
Yeah.
So they were quite religious. So that would stop them. But I think because it was such a hard community anyway,
Yeah.
I think if you tried to cheat anybody, your life wouldn't be worth it.
No. And I should think quite close communities, as in they all knew each other and,
Yes.
yeah.
So yes, well, back to how they were going through the rock, because here we come to some of the danger areas. We've hammered our holes, so now we have this, which is used to pull all the debris out of the hole, because as you can imagine, it will be full of rock dust and everything. So they pull the debris out, they put the explosive in, then they have to feed a fuse in, and they use this, which looks like a needle. Some of them are quite long, so you know, it gives you an indication how far they have to hammer in sometimes. And this was made of steel. It's not copper or anything, it's steel. So they had to pack it really tight with clay,
Yeah.
because one careless move, if it hit the rock, you would have an explosion.
Right.
And it happened frequent enough to have a name for it. and they called it firing a shot in the hand for obvious reasons. It's
Yeah.
going to be mainly the hand that takes the brunt of it. But there are records of a young man called Thomas Harrison, only 18, and he was killed outright with one of these. They don't say where it hit him, just that poor Thomas Harrison lost his life, killed
Yeah.
with a pricker.
So it will block the last of the hole then?
It would just
Yeah.
come shooting out of the hole and hit the nearest bit
Yeah.
of you.
Yeah.
More frequently the hand. But if that guy, well, maybe it blew his hand
Yeah.
off before it hit the lad, who knows. There's also a record of it going through a man's head, under his jaw and out his head. And he lived for 6 years.
Really?
But there's no record of
So what was the
happened.
explosive?
Initially, when they first began, it was gunpowder, but they progressed on to dynamite. And in some of the really old mines that you can go through, there's one I went through. They found, when they first started going through, they found a pack of explosives. So they had to get some of the authorities out to have a look, but of course it was well gone, well gone.
Yes.
So that was one of the danger areas in the mine. You know, getting hit with one of those that would cause you injury.
Yeah.
And this hole I'm standing in is not an air shaft, which you might have been thinking it was. It's how the miners would go from one level to another. They called it a raise or a rise, and that you can see a lovely ladder,
Yeah.
which health and safety has some good points. I can't demonstrate it for you.
Why not?
Right.
I've been before, so I knew.
Well, next time we should bring one along.
Can't believe that's grown here naturally. See that?
Don't use it for outside. I'm talking around.
to have another little chat. If you look now, we're in sandstone. So no more dry stone arching for the time being. This is self-supporting. And the wet keeps dribbling through it, but this is as sound as a pound, as they say. Sound as a pound. Yes. Yes. So, for the time being, we don't need the dry stone experts coming in to do the archwork. We also have stepping stones, which we believe might have been, if you have a look, they keep going up and up, it might have been a way for the miners to keep their feet dry. We're not too sure. It could have been, if they're kind of a mile into the hillside and their oxygen level's gone, are they aware that they are 300 stepping stones from the exit? But none of them have come up to us, so we're still in the dark. And you all see the wall? Yes. What we have is 1854 PM, JC, JP and JE. We know from the records that Peter Milburn, Joseph Carrick, Joseph Peart and Joseph Emerson were one of the team that were excavating the initial tunnel. And they have felt a need to leave their mark, which is, I think, absolutely wonderful. Yeah, it is wonderful. Beautiful.
Do you want the light on? Yeah, I think I'm running short of battery. Right.
I'll come through again. Obviously they had to have siding, so we've got a siding here. You can see what it would look like, full of the bows. But also, if you've been into the exhibition hall, full of our bonny bits, all our nice bits that we're going to make our spar boxes out of. Or if we've been looking and found a really, really good piece of mineral that somebody might want to buy off. Would have that snip right down in there so the manager couldn't see and you can get it out and get a little bit extra money. But at the time of lead mining, none of this had any value, just that lead ore. So they weren't too fussed if they took little bits out. But then we've got beautiful green fluorspar and we've got quartz, and the green is particular to Weardale. In India, with filtered water. And in this area, this is and it's all these and his cooking supplies the oxygen. You can see if I find the top, you've got an arm going up and down. If you look at the little hat at the bottom, you can see the birds in Europe. Come from Europe. Now then, I'm standing here holding a candle. And you're thinking, you can't come into a mine and not know what water candle power really is. So you've got to put your torches out and see what sort of light one candle will give you. Not very much, you know. You still have one little torch in there. One torch not out yet. Has it gone? Is it out? There we go. That's one candle. Now the miners often would use one of these and put the candles in there. And you can see it does help to use the light. It does help a great deal. And even the ponies, they would have these hung on to their harness. So if they were coming in and at the mine, you would have this on the front of them on their chest. But having said all that, we haven't really, but we might have walked to mining. Might we keep this off for a minute? Still off for a minute? Because we're going to lose our oxygen. Hang on tight. Oxygen levels have disappeared. Now then, that is black, isn't it? And you can't see a thing. You could be here all day, you could be here for a week. And because there's no natural light coming in, your eyes can't see them.
Okay.